In this video, we're going to show you how to install the fuel pump module on your Nissan Frontier located inside your fuel tank. We're going to open up your hood and locate the back fuse box on the passenger side of the engine compartment. You want to go ahead and open up this lid. There's going to be two tabs, one here, push in, and then on the other side here, push in here. Unlock those tabs, set that aside. You want to go ahead and locate your fuel pump fuse over here, and if you read through here, you're going to find the fuel pump fuse is location F18, so that's Foxtrot 18, and then you can locate it. Each fuse has a designation, and it happens to be this number 15 right here, 15 amp fuse. You use a pair of pliers, pinch that, and pull that straight out. That is a fuse. We're going to set that aside. Now with that fuel pump fuse removed, hop into the vehicle. You want to go ahead and start it up. Now if the vehicle starts, just let it run until it dies out. In our particular case here, there is no fuel in the lines there for it to stay running and burn out. At that point there, our fuel pressure line should be depressurized a little bit. Let's go ahead and continue. Using a 10mm wrench, go ahead and loosen the nut on our bolt here. Go ahead and wiggle that off and just tuck that aside. Come on over to the bedside, open up the fuel tank door and open up the gas cap. Now when you're performing this job here, you want to go ahead and make sure that you're working in a well-ventilated area. Don't use any flame sources, torches, equipment like that there. You just want to be on the safe side. Using a 22mm socket, go ahead and loosen and remove your lug nuts. Remove your wheel and set it aside. Now I wanted to go ahead and disconnect this hose from this line here. You want to go ahead and spray this down with some solvent and get any debris out of there. Go ahead and wipe it down. Now there is a little coupling here. There's a little spring clip here and there's one on the other side. So you want to basically pinch those two together. You're going to pinch them together and it's unlocking from the black collar. Pinch and then separate the two. Now on the back hose here, we want to go ahead and separate the flex hose here from this connector. We're going to start by disconnecting the hose from the retainer clips. So this hose should spin inside this connector. If it's not, go ahead and spray it down with some solvent. Try and get any debris out of there to loosen that up. On each side here, there's a little lock tab comes down and there's another one on the bottom here. Now you should be able to move this line inside this 90 degree. So I'm going to grab that, kind of twist this a little bit and push that in. And you can see now that there is a gap between the lock tab here and this one here. So you gently have to kind of bend these tabs down. You can use a pick. I'm using a pocket screwdriver. Use a pair of hose pliers here. And you're just basically twisting that out. Be careful not to break any of these plastic connections. Once you get those lock tabs out, it just takes a little bit of effort to pull this out. And there you have it. So the fuel filler nut comes down and attaches to the tank right here. There is a hose clamp. Ours is a 10mm and it is pretty rusty. You want to go ahead and loosen this. Now if your hose clamp is as rusty as ours, it's something you really want to consider replacing upon reassembly. Loosen that up to slide that back. Now I want to grab this hose and pull this off. It is definitely important. Make sure that your fuel is not above this hose. Otherwise, gas is going to go everywhere. Now we're going to use a pair of locking pliers here. Going to give that a twist to break that free. And let's try and pull this off. We do have a catch can underneath the vehicle just to catch anything that we may have missed. There we go. We're going to use our gas tank lift here. Position this. I want to make sure that we're not on the straps because we want to go ahead and remove those. All right, we're just supporting the tank at this point here. We're now going to go ahead and remove our forward gas tank strap. I'm going to switch over to our air tools to speed things up a little bit. And we'll go ahead and remove the bolt on the other side. Now normally you would have another 17 millimeter bolt right here. Ours was replaced already. So use your 17 millimeter, go ahead, loosen and remove this bolt here. Drop that strap down and go ahead and remove your bolt. Now on the other side, it is hinged. So we find our trick here. Sometimes it works. If you won't even remove the strap, is to spin it around and then just kind of finagle it out. Or just spin it around and leave it that way there. That'll work fine as well. At this point, we're slowly going to lower our tank. Now when we lower this, we're looking around the tank, up and around to make sure there's no other connections attached to this. There is an electrical connector on the top going to the fuel pump, so now we need to go ahead and gain access to that. Up on top of the tank, you have your electrical connector right here, and there's a tab on the top side of it. Now I'm using a mirror on top of this cross member to actually see what I'm doing up above the tank. I'm going to use a pair of these pliers here. They're hose pliers, but they actually work pretty well when you're trying to grab a connector and press on that little tab if you can't do it with your fingertip. All right, we get that connector off. Let's go ahead and continue to lower our tank. On the top here, we have another port we need to remove. Now we're going to use a pair of hose pliers on this as well. This has spring clips on it that you're going to pinch together and then work that off. There's our fuel line there. You can see some fuel dribbling out. That is our last connection. Let's go ahead and continue to lower down the tank. Now we have our tank down on the ground. We do want to open this up. I have sealed this with a used glove and I put a little tie strap on there. I'm going to use air to clear off all of the debris on the top of this, and I don't want dirt to get inside. With some safety glasses and compressed air, go ahead and clean this off. Once you feel confident that is cleaned off, I want to go ahead and separate our hose right here. Now this is the same as the other end was. It has two little lock tabs on it. So we're going to use our pocket screwdriver. I'm going to push in on these tabs. Slide that off. Now it's safe to go ahead and pull off the glove here. We want to remove our lock ring here, so we're going to use a brass punch, and we're going to put it in one of these notches here, and we're going to rotate this counterclockwise. We're using brass because we don't want to cause a spark to anything around the fuel vapors. Is now unlocked, and you can see that the fuel pump has popped up. Next thing, go ahead and grab a container so you can go ahead and put this, because it's going to have fuel dripping out of it. So go ahead and grab something you can put this into. And as you pull this up, there is going to be a float on there. And that is right around the bottom there. You can see that fuel dripping out, so put that into the container as soon as possible. Go ahead and grab the O-ring, pull that out and set that aside. Now if you're going to reuse the O-ring, be sure to clean that. Now this groove right around here, you want to go ahead and clean that as well. Make sure you're not wiping any debris into the tank. The reason why we're doing this, we want to make sure that that O-ring will seal properly. Go ahead and unwrap the float. Now the arm itself will fit into here, and you have to press it in gently into this gray retainer clip. So go ahead and line that up, push that down, and just press it in. Let's go ahead and lower our unit down inside the tank. Don't forget to install your O-ring. Drop that down into place. Make sure it's seated all the way around. Now we can seat the unit. Push that down into place. Take your lock ring. Using your brass punch, go ahead and lock that lock ring. Once that lock ring is secure, go ahead and take that hose, remove that cap, and you can push this on. Our tank is ready for installation. On the old fuel pump module, you want to swap over this clip onto the new component. You're going to use your pocket screwdriver and just bend out the little tab here to get that over, and then do the same on the other side. Just like that, and we're going to slide it onto the new component. Remove the plastic cap, take that clip, slide it on over, and push it on until it clips on. Now I want to go ahead and raise up our tank in a position. There are two connectors we need to focus on. Well, one is the fuel line here, the other one is the electrical connector. Once you raise it up about 3/4 of the way, go ahead and connect those two connections. We'll raise it up and install our straps. Press that on, you hear it click. Now that we have our electrical connector installed as well as our fuel line, let's go ahead and raise the tank up into position. Going to position our strap up and around. Make sure that it's in the correct location. At this point here, we're going to install our bolt on the rear strap up into the cross member. Now, if you have that 17mm bolt and it came out just fine, go ahead and start to thread that in. Highly recommend you throw some anti-seize compound on there. In our particular case, we have a replacement bolt here for ours. With this strap installed, we're going to go ahead and install our forward mounted strap. When installing the forward mounted strap, one flange is smaller than the other side. The smaller flange goes on the outboard side. Going to get that bolt started, several threads. Go ahead and move that over and we'll install the other bolt. Now you might have to move that tank a little bit, shift it around, push it up, whatever you got to do to get that bolt hole to line up. Now we have both bolts started on the back side. Let's go ahead and tighten those down. Getting torqued down the strap bolts to 32 foot-pounds. With the tank secured, go ahead and lower down your lift. And then we'll go ahead and roll that out. Now we went and sourced a replacement hose clamp. If you're going to use your original, go ahead and grab that now. Get that into position and slide that onto the filler neck hose. And then we can go ahead and secure this hose clamp. Now you want to make sure that's good and tight so you don't have any vapor leaks or fuel leaks. Once that's set there, we do have the other line in the back here we need to connect. Go ahead and take that connector. I'm going to line that up. Now sometimes these can be buggers sliding back together. A little tip for this, grab some spray solvent, spray inside for the O-ring. With that O-ring wet, go ahead and grab that hose, line it up, and slide it in. And there it is, it's clipped together and secured. Now we need to install this line here to the hard line. Make sure you have this clip. Sometimes they fall off. Push that on. Line up the little tabs with the hole on that hose. Push it together and you're going to feel it and hear it clip into place. Now we have our securing clamps here for the other back line. Don't forget to snap those back on. Install your gas cap. Back up under the hood, grab your 15-amp fuse, line that up. Press that into place, make sure it's fully seated and flush with all of the other fuses. Go ahead and take that cap. It only fits on one way. There's a little keyed section right here. Drop that down, snap that into place. Install the ground terminal. Now at this point here, hop into the vehicle. You want to turn the key on and off 3 times. That fuel pump will go ahead and prime the fuel injection system, taking the fuel from the tank, through the lines, and up to the engine. Now after you've primed the system, go ahead and start the vehicle. You want to come on back to the back of the vehicle. With the vehicle running, inspect all of your fuel connections and make sure there are no external leaks going on here. If everything remains dry, go ahead and shut off the vehicle, install your wheel, and you're all set. Go ahead and install your wheel. We're going to get all of our lug nuts started by hand first, several threads, and then we'll come on back and tighten them down. Go ahead and torque down your lug nuts to 98 foot-pounds. Ideally, you want to go ahead and try and do this in a crisscross pattern.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.